Hello. How's everybody doing? Hopefully well. I started streaming a lot later than I was planning on, but you know what? We're here now. Today, honestly, I just want to finish this last bit. It shouldn't take too long. We've got about an hour left. So hopefully, I say, yeah, we got about an hour left. And then after that, we should be being chilling. Currently, the music I'm listening to is City Girls' Loveless Shadows album, which is really nice.
And ideally, I should not have even done it like this. I should have done literally.
Time to start grinding again.
Next video. How can we take our 3D model we have right now and transform it into something that we can animate like this? That's what we're going to talk about in this video, rigging. 3D models are like statues. They're stiff and can't move at all, and 3D character rigging is essentially putting joints inside of those statues in order that they can bend and move around kind of like an action figure does. While this series is not primarily focused on rigging, and I am not a professional rig creator, I'm about to show you exactly how I create all of my rigs in Blender and get them animation ready in just minutes. So first and foremost, I'm gonna scooch this tab on over because we really don't need it right now. And I'm actually going to want to box select everything in my scene and press H to hide it, then press Shift plus Tab and spawn in a cube.
What?
Now I'm gonna...
He was on the UV editing tab. I don't know if I'm not supposed to do that. Why is it not? Well, I just do this and then this. I want more space. Should I have applied a bunch of my stuff yet? Like, I don't think I've applied any. Yo, is that Undertale? That's going to be down there for the entire stream, I guess.
I want to press Tab to go into edit mode, scale this cube down.
Right. We go. No. Okay. Object mode. Like H. Gone. And shift down. Mesh. Cube. We spawned a cube. Why is the cube so bright? Cube needs to calm down.
Scale it up on the x-axis, or excuse me, the z-axis. Then I'm going to want to go press T to open the tools menu here. Go to loop cut, this loop cut in the center, and from this little menu right here, I'm going to increase the number of loop cuts to about 20. Now I'm going to press Tab, press Shift plus A, and spawn in an armature single bone. Now we can't actually see.
Oh, okay, hold on. We got loop cut, and then here, how many did he do?
Our bone plus A and spawn in an armature D. Now, menu right here, I'm going to increase the number of loop cuts to about 20.
Okay, and from here.
Now I'm going to press tab, press shift plus A, and spawn in an armature single bone. Now we can't actually see our bone through our cube here, and in order to change that, we're going to go to these object data properties, which is like the little green running man icon, which
See, having to have it on the same monitor is slightly annoying.
if we click on another object, we're not actually going to see that space, which is like the little green running man icon, which if we click on another object, we're not actually going to see that. So I want to click back on my bone, go to this object data properties tab, and click on in front so that we can.
Where's maybe that so far back is viewport display. That makes so much sense. Okay, in front. Ooh, I may have made this too big. Let's make it smaller. I guess I was real zoomed out. Maybe. Actually, I'm going to make sure before I do anything. You guys can hear the music, right? Well, it's hard to tell when the music's been real fucking quiet. Alright, you can hear it. You can hear it. We're chilling. We're being chilling. Okay.
See our bone in front of our object. I'm going to press tab to go into edit mode, and look at this. This is our bone. So there's two parts of our bone here, right? We have this bottom part and this top part. And if we press N to open this little menu on the right here, you're going to see that this right here is what's considered the head of our bone, this bottom one. We can change the values of it in this menu if we wish. And the tail of our bone is this top part. So this is the head of our bone, and this is the tail of our bone. And we can edit the values of this in here if we want to. But normally, you're just going to be editing those values directly in the viewport here. So I'm going to press G, C.
Hold on.
Bone, and this is the tail of our bone. And we can edit the values of this in here if we want to. But normally, you're just going to.
Why is it not letting me? I don't have a thing to just easily. Okay. But they were saying, I think, easier to just pull out this.
Be editing those values directly in the viewport here. So I'm going to press GC to move this down, GC to move this down, and then I can create a new bone from this bone by clicking on the tail of the bone, then pressing E to extrude, locking it to the Z axis, like so. Now I'm going to press tab to go back into object mode, then I'm going to press Alt A to deselect all, then I'll select my cube and then my.
Hold the phone. GZ. To get the bone in the bone zone. GC to get the bone in the right bone zone. Actually, I can just see. And then Let's see. That should be halfway through the bone. Why are you not like that? Why are you bigger? Control D. C. A. G. Z. There we go.
Bones. Then I'm gonna press Ctrl plus P on my keyboard and do armature deform with automatic weights.
Control plus P. What?
So now you can see that if we click on our bones and then press Ctrl plus Tab, we're going
Automatic weights.
to now be in a different mode in Blender called pose
Control plus tab and pose
mode. So to switch from object mode to pose mode, just select on your bones and go to pose mode, or you can press Ctrl plus Tab, which is what I almost always press. So with all that out of the way, if we rotate our cube here, you're gonna see that it is actually deforming to our bones we just created. And this is kind of just how rigging works in general. You have a series of bones that then get weight painted.
I think I messed up something. Should these be the same object? Hold on.
Tail of the bone, then pressing E to extrude and lock in.
Yeah, I messed up. Okay. That's a much better way of doing it. Why I was doing it in any other way is a mystery to me. Okay, anyway. Then you go object mode. And you should click that. Now you Control P. Control P. Control P. Automatically. And then Control Tab. And then you can move it around. Move. Oh. Woo. I guess you can just make this better. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to edit the titles for these. I don't think. I think we're just going to learn how to rig models for today. No VNM stuff. Oh, Star and Fox are doing beat. That's fun. Okay, anyway, immediately getting distracted. The ADHD allegations will never be solved. Is this how we want our things to move though? I don't know about the 70 bajillion loop depth. It looks too smooth, no? I don't know. I pressed play on the thingy on my screen. God damn it.
To the Z-axis, like so. Now I'm gonna press Tab to go back into object mode. Then I'm gonna press Alt-A to deselect all. Then I'll select my cube and then my bones. Then I'm gonna press Ctrl+P on my keyboard and do armature deform with automatic weights. So now you can see a different mode in Blender called pose mode. So bones we just created. And this is kind of just how rigging works in general. You have a series of bones that then get weight painted to an object like they've automatically been weight painted here. Then we move these bones around in order to create animations and poses for our characters. So I'm gonna select all bones with A and reset them with Alt-R. Now I'm gonna go back into edit mode by clicking up here.
Alt-R. Alt-R. Row. Okay. That seems to be where it started.
Here. And it's important to note that you can also press Shift+D to duplicate bones. You can press Alt+P to clear parents. So for this bone in particular, Alt+P, I could clear the parent. And if I go back into pose mode and try to rotate this bone will now stay in place, which brings up a really important part of how bones and rigging works in general in Blender, which is that bones in 3D have a hierarchy, just as bones in real life on real skeletons also have a hierarchy. And having bones in a hierarchy like this helps keep our character rig organized and a lot easier to manage. It lets us create complex movements by just animating a few parent bones rather than having us animate each bone individually. And more importantly, it ensures that our characters move in a way that is much more similar to the way we move in real life, which makes the process of creating 3D animations much more intuitive. And if you want an amazing video that goes in depth about how rigging works in 3D in general, definitely check out this Doodly video called 3D Rigging is Beautiful. Here's how it works, because this is just an unbelievably beautiful explanation of how rigging works, what the difference between skeletons, skinning, and controls are. It's a really great in-depth explanation of how rigging works. And if you want in-depth breakdowns of how rigging works in Blender specifically, definitely
I'll probably
check out
watch
Joey
that on my
Carlino's
own
channel, because his videos, particularly this one, Rigging for Impatient People, and the Rigging for Beginners videos that Joey Carlino made, so that's this one and this one, are really, really good, fantastic breakdowns about how rigging works in Blender specifically. And they're super short too, so definitely go check those videos out if you want a little bit more of an in-depth breakdown about how rigging in Blender actually works. Because yes,
yeah, I'll definitely watch those before I'm done.
Bone, as we have here.
Oh wait, I'm covering them up. Hold on.
That they're oriented.
That was not what I wanted to do. Oh, I'm gone. That's also not what I wanted to do. Let me transform, flip horizontal. That looks a little weird. That looks a little weird. Let me actually just do this. We'll put you here. As you can tell, I do not flip my avatar often enough when I'm, or my art often enough when I'm doing stuff. Yeah. I wanna be, I'm gonna be hiding. I'm gonna be poking out. We can put myself right here. Yippee! Look at me. I'm being chillin'. Alrighty, I guess that's how we're working now. Or wait, but if I exit full screen, where am I at? I don't want to like cover them up too much, you know? think that's a little weird. You can be poking out. This is fine for right now. For this stream only, basically.
Patients are correct so we don't get any issues while animating. We can do all of that stuff by hand. However, I never actually do that myself. That's because I always spawn in a Blender Rigify meta rig skeleton, because creating a complete, properly structured rig from scratch is super time consuming, and Rigify gives us a base skeleton with all the essential bones and naming conventions in place, meaning that we can significantly speed up our rig creation process. Plus, Rigify rigs come with a lot of built-in features that really help speed up the animation process, such as a built-in menu that lets us toggle the visibility of different sections of our rigs, pre-created rig control shapes, and more, which gives you much more time to focus
my
on
kind of rigging.
refining your rig and actually creating animations. So
It sounds
as a
like
result,
I get to
don't
just use a
actually
cheat
ever
code.
do this, so I'm just gonna delete these right now and show you how I
El Bozo. It didn't get deleted. Why did? And then also the cube. Right. Okay. There we go. And it didn't. Okay. We're okay. There we go. Now we unhide everything, right? Look at Girly Pop. She be girlying and popping. She even has bones come out of her skull. In front, baby. You got too many bones for your chest. Why do you need that many bones for your chest? Where are these bones for? I feel like no, hip bones are here. Interesting. You know, maybe someone who doesn't know about stuff shouldn't talk about stuff, you know? Okay, let's continue.
actually rig all of my characters. So to get everything that was hidden in your scene, so to reveal all is Alt+H in Blender, and I'm actually going to select this skeleton we spawned in initially for reference and press delete on my keyboard to delete it, because we no longer need that. And now we need to make sure that the Rigify add-on is actually enabled, and to do that we gotta go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, search add-ons for RIGIFY. There's Rigify, and as you can see for me, it's enabled. If it's not enabled for you, click that checkbox and go to Save Preferences, then close out this window. Now we want to spawn in a basic human meta rig. So we want to press Shift+A, Armature, and by enabling this add-on, we have this new tab right here, Rigify Meta Rigs. Then we want to go to Basic Human. The reason we want the Basic Human meta rig is because while these are fantastic for animals and this human meta rig is great for realistic characters, we really don't need that much detail because the human meta rig by default has things for like finger controls and mouth controls and controls for the nose and the eyelids, which is just way too much for this art style. So in our case here, we want to go to Rigify Meta Rigs, Basic, then Basic Human. And
hold on, I actually want to look at the difference between these. I'm kind of supposed to speedrun of some bread that is currently proofing. Okay, yeah. It's mostly just the head stuff here, which, goddamn, that looks annoying. I don't know how I'm going to get that to work in Venion, since I'm not gonna have like eye bones. We'll figure it out when we get to that part. But yeah. Delete the human. Don't need it. Aldrich. Yippee. Cool.
And with that spawned in, we want to go to this data.
Okay, he's on. I don't know their pronouns. I wish I did. It would make this a little easier.
The object data properties tab, go to viewport display and make sure that in front is checked. So again, so we can actually see our bones and what they look like. Then we want to go to the front view by pressing 1 on our numpad. Then we want to scale our rig. So we're going to press S on our keyboard to scale like so. And if it's not scaling from where you want it to be, make sure that you have either median point or bounding box center selected. So I'm going to scale this so it kind of lines up with our character like this. That's looking pretty good.
Actually,
I can also scale it kind of lines
it?
up with our character like the box center selected.
Okay.
And if it's not scaling from,
It's going.
I can also scale it on the x-axis if I want things to be a little bit wider, which I kind of do in this case. Do it kind of like that. And that's looking pretty good. So with that done, I'm going to press Ctrl+A and apply all transforms, or you can just apply scale. So I'm going to press Ctrl+A and apply all transforms or scale. Either works just fine. Now I'm going to line up our bones with our character here. So I'm going to press Tab to go into edit mode. And I'm going to select all the different heads and tails of these bones and line them up with our character. So for this one, we're going to put this generally where our elbow is, this like edge loop right here. And if you don't see your object's wireframe, make sure to enable that by going to...
Ooh. It's not letting me go into edit mode. Now why is this? Okay, just because I wasn't locked in? I don't know, man. Oh. Yeah, to see all the tabs I had open. Could be yes. Alrighty, what was I doing? Got distracted. Right, edit mode. I'm now in edit mode.
Viewport overlays, geometry, and wireframe. Make sure that's visible while you're doing this. Makes your life a whole lot easier. I'm going to select this part of the bone and move this by our wrist.
Yeah, I should be selecting them by the balls. I'm now selecting them by the balls.
Then I'm going to select this bone and put it on the tip of our hand like so. Or I could even put it slightly in like this. But you're going to notice something by doing this. This is not automatically being mirrored on the opposite side of our model, which is not good. So to make sure that everything we're doing here is actually getting mirrored to the opposite side of our model, we want to click on this button at the top right, which says Apply Changes to Matching Bone on
Hold on a second. Hit that button. This button. Apply changes. Dude. Oh.
opposite side of x-axis, but all that really means is that every action you take on this side of our model will get mirrored to this side of our model. So I'm going to click this right here, then I'm going to just move this a little bit, and luckily it's just going to snap if I do that. I'm just going to make sure that all of these ones that I moved are perfectly mirrored on the opposite side. So if you ever mess up and that's not enabled, just remember that you can enable that and then move the bones slightly and have them be mirrored. That's looking good. I know this bone is used for foot roll, so I'm going to want to move this over, and I'm just pressing G plus X to lock it to an axis. And put the tips of this bone on the edges of our foot so that it can kind of roll when our rig is generated. That's looking pretty good. We want to make sure that this bone is in the center of our knee. So where this edge loop is, we want this bone to kind of line up with. So that's looking.
Edge loop. First off, I need get in there. Second off, how are you seeing the edge loop now? I gotta click onto this. That's arm. I'm stupid. Leg. Why won't it let me switch to the leg? If I go to object mode, switch to leg, and then from leg, switch to edit mode. Well, I got it perfect anyways. I'm just that good. I think I need to move it a little to the left, otherwise, bang. Also move a little to the left. And like this. Oh no. I want it to look like it's in the middle of the knee. Okay.
Good. Alright. This is looking good. So this is confusingly, this is the head bone. I'm gonna put this about right here. You can put it on the tip of your character as well, but I'm gonna line it up right there. And these two bones, right here and here, very confusingly are the neck bones. And while we're editing these bones, I'm gonna press Alt-C to make sure I'm editing both of these bones at the same time. So I'm gonna press G+C, move this down, this bone, G+C, move it down. And because this is our head bone, we kind of want it to end. I'll go to press 3 to put this down. Both of these bones at the same time. So I'm gonna press G+C, move this down. This bone, G+C, move it down. And because this is our head bone, we kind of want it to end. I'll go to press 3 to go to the side view. We kind of want it to end where our neck does. So about right here. Again, we can always change this later. We can always regenerate our rig when we're done, which is one of the awesome parts of Rigify. So don't stress about this too much. We can actually hide these bones too to make our lives a little bit easier. So I'm going to select all these bones. Press H to hide. So select this bone, H to hide, select this bone, H to hide. And the cool part is we can edit our bones. So say we want to do this, don't actually do this, and then press Alt-H to reveal it. And it's been mirrored on the opposite side because we have this mirroring option enabled. I'm going to undo that, of course, by pressing Control+Z. Then I'm going to press 3.
Look.
Our rig when we're done, which is right here.
That's how it looks with that. Why does it look like I have a out of my bed? That's thing, basically. Okay. Oh. A little bit more, I guess. I don't know if that's how neck works, but you know what? That's how neck works now. Neck work? Neck work? Neck don't work, I guess. I don't know. My neck doesn't work. Okay, back to tutorial.
Side view. We kind of want it to end where our neck does, so about right here. again, we can always change this later. We can always regenerate our rig when we're done, which is one of the awesome parts of Rigify. So don't stress about this too much. We can actually hide these bones too to make our lives a little bit easier. So I'm going to select all these bones. There's H to hide. So select this bone, H to hide, select this bone, H to hide. And the cool part is we can edit our bones so on the opposite side.
Weird.
Then I'm going to press 3 and make sure our bones here are aligned. So our case here, I'm going to press...
never mind. I actually am going to, because it makes that a little easier. Everything's all lined on this side. Okay. Everything else will go from. Now here, G, Y. And she got big feet. B-Y.
The tip of this bone here, move that to the front. Click on this bone, put it about right here. Then I want to select this bone here and move it about right here where this loop cut is. And I'll make sure that this bone right here, just used for foot roll, I believe, is moved kind of towards the back of our foot like this. And that is good enough for now. So now I want to go up here, make sure this is kind of aligned. And kind of want these centered in our model a little bit here, because again, these are going to be joints that are inside our model, so where they're rotated from is dependent on where these are located. I'll move this back a bit. Though I will say this doesn't need to be perfect. Do make sure you have a bend right here, because say it's kind of perfectly straight like this, Blender will not be able to figure out which direction your leg will bend. So when you move,
how is he seeing the loop cuts?
Their leg might bend in this direction, for example. So make sure there's a slight bend in both your leg and your arm in order that Blender can kind of figure that out. So that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go to the top view by pressing 7 and align our arm. This, move this stuff over because we already lined. It from the front view as well. I'll try to move these together, though I don't think that is actually required. Press 1 to go back to the front view. That's looking pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna say this looks good enough. There's some breastbones right here that are honestly completely unnecessary. You can just delete those if you want, which I'm gonna do here. Then I'll press Alt H to remove all the bones again to see if they're looking good, which they are. Though I am going to make sure that there's a slight bend here by pressing G plus Y. Because again, I want to make sure these bend correctly when we generate our rig, which we're about to do. So I'm gonna go back into
jiggle.
Make sure these bend, make sure that there's a slight bend here by pressing G plus Y.
You want, okay, but need a slight bend at your knee, which it does look like I have it. Exaggerate it just a tad, just to make sure I'm getting good results, I guess. For this, go GY. Also bend this, is that what he...
Because again, I want to make sure these bend correctly when we generate our rig, which we're about to do. So I'm gonna go back into object mode. I'm going to hide our turnarounds because we don't actually need those anymore. Now with our skeleton looking pretty good, we're going to scroll down to this Rigify tab. We now have an object data properties thanks to the Rigify add-on. There's a button right here called Generate Rig that we are going to click. And once we've done that, you can now see that we have now generated a rig here. And again, I'm going to click in front so that we can see our rig through our model here. And if we drag this down,
Why does his look a lot different than mine? Ooh, wait, I should probably apply a bunch of the filters at this point. Hold on. Here, right? Apply. Leg. Apply. And... because at the moment, they don't actually exist. So let's make them exist. Wait. I was doing like supreme gamer posture. Hold on. Before I destroy my neck. And this might fix that. Nope. Okay, something's wrong. What's going on? Something is wrong. Oh. Oh, Twitch went down. Interesting. I love when Twitch just keeps going down. It's so good. Why did Twitch go down? What's going on here? Am I back? Okay. Dumb as fuck, but alright.
You're gonna see that we still have the meta rig we spawned in here. So we still have this rig that we just lined up, but we've just generated another rig on top of it basically. And I'm just gonna hide this right now by clicking that little eye icon. Now we want to bind our model to this rig we just generated. And to do that, I'm gonna select every object in my...
Oh. We generate rig, and that's not binded to our model yet. Okay.
scene here. So I'm gonna select, I'll go to this preview mode so I can make it a little bit more obvious that's what I'm selecting. So I'm gonna select my hair, my face, my neck, torso. Oh.
Uh-oh, we have a problem. My hair and my face are the same object.
My hair, my face, my neck.
Alrighty, chat. It is currently time to separate them. Let's hide the rig. Everything.
What I'm selecting. So I'm gonna select my hair,
Hair,
my face,
oh, stream elements. What's that?
my neck,
Okay, neck is a different.
torso. Oh, that was the rig. I'm gonna
Unless
select that
they're
holding Control and then box selecting. So Control plus box select can deselect objects in Blender. So again, I'm gonna select every object of my character. I'm gonna select torso, arms, hands, legs, the waist, the feet, and we can check if this is actually all of our character by pressing H. So it is. It's fantastic. We'll undo that with Control plus C. Then I'm going to shift select the rig. So I'm shift selecting all these objects, but then I am shift selecting this rig. Then I'm gonna press Control plus P, and then...
okay, I don't know how much it changes if this is... what I'm saying is that I currently don't do that. Yeah. Zoom that in. Yum. I'm gonna be honest, I like navigating around in Godot more. What the fuck? Gotta zoom out to zoom faster. What the heck are those? Oh, those are the things hidden by the hair. I think the hair connects to that. Okay, so actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to delete. We don't actually delete this. Actually, delete. Let's look edgy. Let's go faces. Actually, I probably could have just clicked delete faces and it would have worked. Yeah. Yeah, right. I guess not. Whoa. I don't know what that did. Three edges. No. What? What? Oh. Okay. There we go, chat. We're edging super hard now. Does it really matter if it's different stuff? I don't know. Honestly, the longer I'm doing this, the less I'm sure. But we're doing it anyways again. Okay, so if I do the okay, that's it. If I cut it, we lose a couple things. So I guess get the outline. What is that? What is that? Is that the nose? Yeah, that's something. I feel like I'm missing one edge somewhere. Or is it one big face that it's making? I think that's what's going on. Or hold on. Is there a way to just make something into a new object? Let's just go faces. That makes things easy. And then I'm going to Google. Do not pause. Already at the end of Snowbreads? Okay. Oh, they're shorter than I thought they were. I don't know why I thought they were real long. Blender making a selection into a new object. I'm going to keep watching this to...
And it's going to open the Set Parent To menu. We want to do Armature Deform with automatic weights. So click on with automatic weights, then go back to this viewport shading mode up here so we can actually see our character. Then with our new armature rig selected, in object mode, we're going to press Ctrl plus Tab to go into pose mode.
Oh, that was so clean. Okay, and I'll rename this face. Alt H. Alt H. And hide these two.
Back to this viewport shading mode up Set Parent To menu. We want to do Armature Deform with automatic.
Not meta rig. Okay, we want to hide the meta rig. Okay, we got head, face, chest, arms, hand, waist, legs, oh, neck. I don't know if the order matters. Hold on.
Selected another. We want to bind our model to this rig we just generated, and to do that, I'm going to select every object in my scene here. So I'm going to select. I'll go to this preview mode so I can make it a little bit more obvious that what I'm selecting. So I'm going to select my hair, my face, my neck, torso. Oh, that was the rig. I'm going to deselect that by holding Control and then box selecting. So Control plus box select can deselect objects in Blender. So again, I'm going to select every object of my character. I'm going to press the torso, arms, hands, legs, the waist, the feet, and we can check if this is actually all of our character by pressing H. So it is. Fantastic. We'll undo that with Control plus C. Then I'm going to shift select the rig. So I'm shift selecting all these objects, but then I am shift selecting this rig. Then I'm going to press Control plus P, and then it's going to open the Set Parent To menu. We want to do Armature Deform with automatic weights. So click on with automatic weights, then go back to this viewport shading mode up here so we can actually see our character. Then with our new armature rig selected, in object mode, we're going to press Ctrl plus Tab to go into pose mode. Now, if we move our character around,
80. Moment of truth. Nope, the rig is fucked. Okay. So, why is the rig not right despite me changing the bones and where the bones are? Why did it not work? I don't get it. Bone collection. Okay, hold on, let's go back to what they generated the rig.
Pretty. Because again, I want to thank. Wait, here, click through the Rigify add-on. There's a button right here called Generate Rig that we are going to click. And once we've done that, you can now see that we have now generated a rig here. And again, I'm going to click in front so that we can see our rig through our model.
Do I have to like select everything? Maybe, hold on. It might have changed since. Then here, Rigify, generate rig. Nope, it's not changing. Rigify, generate rig not working. Okay, so that was from deleting the bones, which is really annoying. Nope, okay. Alright, that means we just have to restart. It's really annoying. Viewport display in front. I know what I'm doing this time though. Then let's scale it. Nope, I'm scaling the lady too. Don't want to be scaling the lady. There's a bit in this song that sounds like a Discord boom, and that's just gonna make me sad for a bit. Or I guess we're fixing it. We're there. So it doesn't really matter too much. And this one has to go all the way there. This one has to go all the way there. And this one has to go all the way there. While this one has to go lower. I'm gonna go here, and then, ooh, that's cozy. Ooh. GY. 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 I don't have the feet, right? GY. I'm sorry. Spreading this information. That's supposed to go at the end of the foot, I thought. Yeah, that's basically what it looked like. Okay. These bones. They're not anything important. So. But no, it's just worse, I think. It's not changing anything. While to the scale to the bones. Okay, go into object mode. Control A. Yeah, apply all transforms. Fuck, I feel like they said something about that and I just wasn't paying attention. I think this was a me goof. I think I goofed. I think I wasn't listening. Okay, but now I am free to click. That's my heart's desire. Oh, forgot the knife. Nope. Thank you. And then add the meta rig. And click on the rig. And then Control P with automatic weights. Control Tab. I get a feeling that kind of works. I think that's how it's supposed to work.
Here, and if we drag this down, you're going to see that we still have the meta rig we spawned in here. So we still have this rig that we just lined up, but we've just generated another rig on top of it, basically. And I'm just going to hide this right now by clicking that little eye icon. Now we want to bind our model to this rig we just mode and fully ready for animation, which is awesome. So you can see that we can move her leg up here and it's bending.
So
as expected.
I just don't do it too much, obviously. Wiggle. Look at her jive. Bingo, 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 bingo. Look at her, she's getting ready to jump. Rotate it. Ooh, rotating is getting weird. Oh. I would want to rotate the arm. Do I need to yank this? Well, I assume...
Forward, we can move her arm like this, and you can see that it is bending the correct direction backward, which is awesome. You can move her hand like this, and it's also working. And her neck is going to be right here, which we can rotate like this.
Let's do that. Ooh, my arm bends the wrong direction. Okay, so we just delete this and fix the meta rig. Oh, did I? I did the wrong one. You're supposed to bend. Okay. Alrighty. Now, generate new rig. And then, can't I just... I can just manually select the... And then select the rig. Control P. Automatic weights. Control T. There we go. Oh, now it's not moving. At all. Is it long or something? Control pad. Snapping. It's a little funky. I don't think it's supposed to do that. I'm not gonna lie. I might have exaggerated it a little too much. Alright, Ray. Neck. Waist. Rig. Feet. Automatic weights. Control tab. Okay, now it's better.
And her head is going to be right here, which we can move around like that.
Oh.
Yes. So that is absolutely fantastic. We can move her torso in general, and her hands will stay in place, and her feet will stay in place because they currently have IK enabled on them. So that is awesome. However, you might be noticing a few issues here. For example, if I move my arm, we have some of the hair following along with the arm like so, as well as different parts of the chest right here. So to fix that, you're going to want to do something called weight painting, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about in the next video. However, if you want to hide some of these extra bones because they're just your keyboard, and thanks to Rigify being super awesome, we have this rig layers menu now. So we can actually toggle all of these unnecessary bones that we don't really need to see right now by clicking off, for example, tweak. We don't need any of these FK ones because we don't have FK enabled, we have IK enabled. Click off all of these, click off all of these and these, and now we are only seeing the bones we actually would need to see for the moment. So we can move our character around with the root bone, move their torso bone, and move them around very easily in pose mode here, which is fantastic. So in the next video, we're going to talk about weight painting. And remember, if you do run into any issues when you generate your rig, for example, it looks like her neck is kind of leaning forward here, which is not ideal. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you can always regenerate your rig. What that means is that we can go back to object mode, we can hide our rig we just generated and go back to our meta rig. Then we can click on this, go to edit mode by pressing tab. Then we can go to the side, you can see that, hell yeah, our spine is kind of leaning forward in an awkward way, which is probably what's causing our neck to be like, you know, at a 30-degree angle like this. So I'm gonna press Alt-Z, and you have to be careful, very, very careful when adjusting these spine bones, otherwise you're gonna get an error. So I'm gonna press Alt-Z to make sure that we're in X-ray view, and I'm gonna select these bones, I'm gonna box select to make sure I got both of them.
What are those cubes?
Mentioned earlier, you can always regenerate your rig. What that means is that we can go back to object mode, we can hide our rig we just generated and go back to our meta rig.
So object mode, hide the rig, go to the meta rig. How does he fix this spine?
Then we can click on this, kind of leaning forward in an awkward way, which is probably what's causing our neck to be like, you know, at a 30-degree angle like this. So I'm going to press Alt-Z, and you have to be careful, very, very careful when adjusting these spine bones, otherwise you're going to get an error. So I'm going to press Alt-Z to make sure that we're in X-ray view, and I'm going to select these bones, I'm going to box select.
Let's see. Alt-Z doesn't do anything for me. There's this. Oh. What do I want? Alt-Z? Notice that opens up an NVIDIA thing, which might be what's not letting me do that, but... Wow. Why am I not in? There we go.
Make sure I got both of them, and press G and then Y to move this forward a little bit. And I'll also move this one, G plus Y. Again, I'm making sure that I am in X-ray view, G plus Y to move this forward. And this is distracting, so I'm just gonna hide all these bones because I don't actually need to see them right now. Side view.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, yeah. YouTube, get hidden. That's making so much easier. G1, straighten out spinal.
You. And heck, I can even hide my entire arm here, which is pretty nice. I'll go back into edit mode on my skeleton. Pressing H to hide all of those, of course.
Okay, we put it more on like the middle of the body. One big headbone. And then I guess we just go
and kind of line those up like so. Fantastic. So now I'm gonna press Alt H to reveal all those and hide my turnarounds because I don't really want to see those right now. Now I'm gonna hide our newly generated rig, go back to our meta rig, then go to the Object Data Properties tab, you know, the one with the little running man. Then I'm gonna scroll down to Rigify where we now see this regenerate rig option. So yes, you can do this at any point of time, which is why it's
Did Twitch go down again?
I usually do want to keep this because this can be a very useful feature for whenever you want to change something on your rig or go back and alter things in any capacity. So I'm gonna click right here on the regenerate
Bro,
rig
what is
button,
going
the Rigify tab. So
on?
I'm gonna click regenerate rig. Then I'm gonna hide our meta rig once again and press Control plus Tab.
Oh, can I not stream for more than 30 minutes?
Our neck is not tilting forward nearly as much. Still is a little bit, but that's fine.
Okay, we just press regenerate rig. Rig is now regenerated. Control tab. Oh, hide the meta rig. Hair is moving, which it shouldn't. But the neck, which is what we were doing all this for. Seems fun. Okay.
So that's how you regenerate your rig using Rigify. And just so you know, we are in the final stretch of this series with only a few videos on the series today. PDF, download me. Still a few issues that crop up. First up being that our hair is moving kind of awkwardly along with it, which we obviously don't want, as well as the top of the collar also kind of following the hand, which we obviously don't want as well. So I'm gonna reset that by pressing Alt plus G, and we're gonna fix those in this video using a process called weight painting. So to enter weight paint mode in Blender, click on any 3D model you have in object mode, then go up here and click on weight paint, or for the shortcut, you can press Control plus Tab.
Crazy that it's gone down like twice. I'm gonna lower the city a little bit. It's making my brain wobble. You know? Alright. Click on a 3D model in object mode. Object mode.
Then click on weight paint like that. Now our hair has turned blue, and the reason it's blue is because we are currently in what's called a vertex group that has no weight painting applied to it. So you can actually switch between vertex groups right at the top of Blender here, or you can go to this tab right here, the Object Data Properties tab, the one.
Wait. Blue hair, blue eyes, hiding in Wi-Fi.
That's like an upside down triangle, and you can use this menu right here to switch between vertex groups as well. But you can also do that right up here, and I'm just switching between them using the arrow keys on my keyboard because that's often a lot faster. So if I scroll through my vertex groups here, you can see that this is the bone for our head, which is called Def Spine 001 because we're using Rigify. And now we can see that the color of our hair has changed here. So you can think of vertex groups kind of as little containers or homes for vertices. And remember, a vertice is just all these different points in our model. So this is a vertice, this is a vertice, this is a vertice, this is a vertice. You can think of vertex groups as kind of groupings and pairings of vertices that we can use to apply weights to our model. And we already have a ton of vertex groups because Rigify generated a bunch of them for us when we applied automatic weights on this model. This is our hair, what it looks like right now. And as you can see, the top of our hair is super red, which means that it has 100% influence. Each color in weight painting represents how much influence a bone, in this case here, our head bone, has on this part of our model. So the top of our head has 100% influence, meaning that if we pose our head around, it's going to follow our hair perfectly, whereas the bottom part has a lot less influence and may not be following our head 100% of the time. The color blue, which is what we were looking at earlier when we looked through all these other bones, that means this is unweighted, and it's best not to worry about the specifics of these colors too much because these are just a gradient and a visualization for what are essentially just intensity values. You could even think of them as percentages on all the vertices that make up your model. And by entering weight paint mode, there's also a few tools here that are now available to us that I'm gonna look at right up here. So first tool is the default tool that we have selected already called Draw. This is just, as you can see right here from the icon, a brush tool. So we can just click on different vertices on our model and see that they'll start to get painted red. And they're getting painted red because our currently selected weight, which again, you can just think of this as percentage, 1 being 100%, 0 being 0%. You can think of that as your currently selected intensity, right? So if I click on my model with 0 weight, it's gonna start painting things blue. And if I click on my model with 100% weight, it's gonna start painting things red. So that's pretty cool. And there's also a symmetry option right here that you can enable in weight paint mode, which is super helpful for symmetrizing things on your model if you have perfectly symmetrized bones. For example, if I had symmetry enabled and I was painting her knee here, every little adjustment I'd make on this right knee, or excuse me, her left, I guess, her left knee, would get perfectly symmetrized to the other side because we're using Rigify, which already has perfectly symmetrical bones and weights already set up for us, which is awesome. So that's what the weight option does, but there's another option right here called Strength, which is essentially your opacity. So if you've used Photoshop or any similar application to that, Clip Studio Paint, etc., they all have opacity options for their brushes. Most painting apps set this to, 0% influence. I want no influence on this part of my model, but I set my strength to 50%, aka my opacity to 50%, then click on this vert, it's going to turn green because, again, if we put strength to where you're using much smooth, and being able to lower our strength can kind of help with those gradations, especially when we're using other tools like blur as well. You're going to see we're going to get a beautiful those weights. So I'm going to do all that. I'm going to do all of that with Control+C. So I'm just going to spam Control+C a bunch of times. Actually, I'll redo that with Control+Shift+C a few times. There we go. So now let's actually talk about the different options we have for these brushes, because they're actually extremely important and there's some extremely frustrating things that I need to explain right off the bat. So if I press N on my keyboard here and I go to Tool, you're going to see that this is where we have tool options, which is also available right here in the properties editor. So you can, these are literally the same menu. You can use either one, but in my case here.
And
I'm going to use this one from the little end menu in the 3D viewport because it's a little bit more convenient for me. So there's a few super useful options here because by default, you're going to be using this draw tool when wave painting a lot. And I would highly recommend whenever you're using the draw tool for low poly models like this one to set your fall off in your brush settings to this right here. So this brush shape is flat, which means that.
And then we go here. And then we go voila, and then we go this one.
Every single time, let's set our weight to 100% here, and our strength to 100% as well. So every single time you click on a vert, it's just gonna like straight up paint that vert 100%. If you don't have this enabled and you have like one of these shapes, for example, and you click again, it can kind of like create smooth transitions, which can be nice, but realistically in low poly modeling, you're often kind of just painting things like 100% or 0% a lot of the time. So that can be kind of distracting and not actually super helpful. So a lot of the time when I'm doing low poly models, I'll be using this flat brush shape because it's just a lot more of like the result I would actually want when doing low poly modeling and wave painting. So that's one useful option, but again, you can change this to whatever you want. You can like move these around to get the exact kind of fall off on your brush that you would actually like. It's super useful, but I'm just going to use this flat option right here. We already talked about X symmetry, which symmetrizes the opposite bone to have the same weights as the bone you're painting, which is super helpful. But there's also another super useful option right here called front faces only. Now, this is something, again, that's really weird, worth talking about. If we try to go to X-ray view in wave painting mode, you're going to notice that it says X-ray not available in current mode. That's because we're in rendered view. Which you can see by pressing Z, we're in rendered view. But if we go to solid view, then press Alt+Z, you actually can use X-ray mode while wave painting. So if you want to use X-ray mode and have your textures visible, you can click this little drop down right here next to the top right of your viewport, go to flat, then texture. And in theory, that...
Okay. Hold on. There's only here. That's oh. Flat texture. Yippee! I've actually wanted this for a while now. I'm glad we've got it. Hours into be doing this tutorial.
To actually be used, which is really awesome and helpful when wave painting. So that's that, but anyway, I mentioned that because that's what front faces only does. If I turn off front faces only, that lets us paint through objects, which can be useful sometimes. So I'll turn off front faces only and symmetry just to make sure that's not part of this equation. Then I'm going to set weight to 0. And as you can see, if I now start wave painting through the model like this, or like on this side of the model, then we rotate to this side of the model. Oh, actually, I don't see anything yet. Oh, okay. So I think I might see why. So the reason that's not actually doing anything yet with front faces only disabled is because we also need our fall off shape to be set to projected, not sphere. So
fall off shape set to projected? Wait, we had front face off, projected.
if I do this again, go to this side of the model, start painting away, just like left click, left click, left click, left click, then rotate around my model, you're going to see that we are now painting through our model. So that can be useful in situations where you have something kind of like a cylinder where you just want the exact same weights all around every part of your model. But in our case here, that's not super useful, but it can be very useful in certain situations. So I'm going to undo that with Control+C a bunch of times.
Oh wait,
There we go.
maybe
And I'm going to
use,
set my fall off shape back to sphere and turn on front faces only once again, because that's kind of what I want right now. Then we
Sphere.
have the most frustrating
Front faces
Blender option I've ever encountered. I have to say,
Oh?
this is the most baffling and confusing thing for beginners I think there is in maybe all of Blender, but definitely in weight painting. And that is this option right here. So on your brush settings, you're gonna see this option right here under options. So N, tool, options, right here. You have this option right here called auto normalize. This should be enabled by default. Every single Blender tutorial I've ever watched on weight painting tells you to enable this option, but for some reason I don't understand, it is not enabled by default in Blender. I really hope they change that someday, but in any case, the reason I say this is because
they
with
still haven't.
auto normalize, you can create points on your 3D model where multiple bones have influences over 100% on your model, which is so confusing. It's really, really bad for beginners. And enabling auto normalize makes it so that when you add weight to one bone, it actually removes it from another, which is what you would expect to happen, right? And if you end up with areas on your model where the total influence exceeds 100%, which, you know, that's going to happen when you don't have this enabled, auto normalize can help fix those issues automatically.
assuming
So
we're going
I would
to make
recommend
this
to basically
100%.
everyone to turn on auto normalize when you're weight painting your model, basically 100% of the time. Sometimes it can be useful for when you're trying to do very smooth transitions, I've heard, or when you have like very high poly models and you're doing things a little bit more complicated than low poly, but really just turn on auto normalize to save yourself a world of headaches. And one final thing to mention about weight paint mode is that there's two options right up here.
my
One
hair
is
color
called
changed.
face
Crazy.
selection masking for painting, and the other is vertex selection. And you can actually switch between these by pressing
Sounds
1 and
better,
2 on
right?
your keyboard, just like you can switch between selection modes in edit mode. But in our case here, we really
Reminds
don't
me
need
of
these.
Caleb,
This is great
right?
for when you need to mask specific faces or vertices on your model. But in our case here, our model is so low poly, that's mostly unnecessary. So how do we actually fix the issues we talked about in the beginning of this video, being that I'm gonna go my hair model in object mode and go into weight paint. Now, making sure that I'm on def spine 6, which is our head bone in our case here, we're gonna press N on our keyboard and make absolutely sure we have auto normalize enabled. Otherwise, this will not even do what we want it to do. So with auto normalize enabled, I'm going to go to the gradient tool, set that weight to 100% as well as the strength to 100%. Then I'm gonna click and drag up.
That's a much easier way of doing what I did, and it also ensures that everything is gradiented. So everything should now have
I'm
100%.
gonna click
Or
and
not
drag up a
everything,
few
just the one
times
bone.
to make absolutely sure that our head is 100% weighted to this bone. And again, with auto normalize enable, it makes it so that when you add weight to one bone, it's actually removing it from another. So now when we go to object mode, select our rig and go to pose mode by pressing Control+Tab. Now when we
Go back to object mode, click on new, pose mode, click on new. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Or like Alt G or something? Yeah, returns it to default. Interesting.
move it around, our hair is no longer following along with our hand, which is fantastic. But we still have this issue with our collar, where if we move our hand around, it's moving along with it, which we don't really want. And to fix that issue, I'm gonna go back into object mode and
30 more
select our
minutes,
torso
minimum.
here, and go back into weight paint mode.
And then
I'm
I
going to
have
weight
bread I
paint,
have to go
I'll go
bake.
through our 3D viewport. Now I'm going to scroll through all of our weights right here, and by scroll through, I mean arrow key through them. And I can see that there's a lot of weights on spine 2 here, which probably means it's the bone on our rig that we want to weigh this 100% to. So I'm going to use a gradient tool once again, drag down.
Dude, I love low poly shit. Because it's like so much less work than high poly shenanigans. Titties. No, I don't want the titties. I want the spine. Let's play the spine. Oh, that's interesting. How it maybe that one?
Up. I, in my case here, want it once again.
Oh, probably because I still had the breastbones. So here, and we're going gradient, and pop, 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 pop. Which means that it shouldn't have any weight anywhere else. So, back to object, go to view, back to pose. Moving the hand doesn't edit it anymore. Moving that is a bit wobbly, but also moving you should be. I guess you're just supposed to rotate it. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wow. Okay.
Drag down, drag up. I, in my case here, want it 100% weighted. I could, if I wanted to, go to spine 1, set my strength a little bit lower here, aka my opacity. You can think of strength as opacity, and drag up a little bit here if I wanted a little bit of weighting, like that. And then go to object mode, click on my rig, and pose this around to see how it works. And that worked really well.
Okay, so I guess it's not as cut and dry as I thought it is. But also, that makes a lot more sense, because that does that, which is weird. And this also does that, which is weird. Back to object mode, back to torso, back to weight paint. Is some squash and stretch could be done. I'll be honest, I'm checking Twitch over and over just to make sure that shit ain't breaking down on me.
My rig, and pose this around to see how it works.
There? Oh. Alright.
And that worked really well. That's awesome, and again, it works. And that worked really well.
That's then the rotate. Oh. Is that anything like that? Yeah, it didn't look more like this. Okay. This stuff isn't like detaching.
That's awesome. And again, to test it, and that worked really well. And pose this around to see how it works, and that worked really well. That's awesome. And again, to see how it works, and that worked really well. That's awesome. And again, and to test if this actually worked out, we're going to move our hand here, and it worked. That's awesome. And again, to see how it works, and that worked really well.
Yeah, he was rotating. What? That's not what my model does when I rotate it. If I'm clicking at that point, I'm gonna press rotate. But it's also not what it says on here. Trackball? Oh. Maybe I could just... What? Hold on. I guess he was just getting... How's he doing? Let's rotate. Resize. Wait. How did I do that? Wait, I did it, and now it's gone. Let's rotate. Cause that looks a lot better than whatever was going on before. If you just click within it and not on anything in particular. Okay. Uh-oh. It's not... Alt Y? Okay, anyway. See all my tabs again. I should close this. Oh yeah, I was messing with VNAM. They wanted to know what folders I had open. Again, it's just free 3D models.
We're gonna move our hand here, and it worked. You can see that again because we have auto normalize enabled, and that makes it so that no vertex on our models can get over 100% weighted. When we used 100% weighting on our torso, it fixed this issue because it removed all the weights from other bones that were causing that weird wiggling issue. So that is now fixed, which is fantastic. One final tip I want to mention is that with your rig selected using a Rigify rig, if you go to the Object Data Properties tab, you have a bone collections screen here, right? And these bone collections are the same as the ones we toggled in the last video, these rig layers. It's the same thing. This is just a really nice UI for all the ones you really care about when you're animating. But if we want to view all the different this is just a really nice UI for all the ones you really care about when you're animating. But if we want to view all the different joints on our model that these weights are applied to, we can go to this Def tab. So Def stands for deformation, and we can isolate this bone group by clicking this one. And these bone collections are the same as the ones we selected using a Rigify rig. If you go to the Object Data Properties tab, you have a bone collections screen here, right? And these bone collections are the same as the ones we toggled in the last video.
You toggled those?
These rig layers. It's the same thing. This is just a really nice UI for all the ones you really care about when you're animating. But if we want to view all the different joints on our model that these weights are applied to, we can go to this def tab. So def stands for deformation, and we can isolate this bone group by clicking this little star next to it. Deformation. These weights are applied about when you're animating, but if we want to view all the different joints on our model that these weights are applied to, we can go to this def tab. So def stands
okay. Bone collection. Deformation.
Stands for deformation, and we can isolate this bone group by clicking this little star next to it. So clicking this star will isolate it so that it's the only visible one, and we can unisolate it by clicking on the star again. But in our case here, we want to click the star so we can see all of these different deformation bones. So now you can actually click on your rig, then shift click on your model, then go into weight paint mode up here, or you can press Control plus Tab, weight paint. Now, if you want to preview what all your different weights look like, you can press Alt plus left click. So Alt plus left click is switching between our vertex groups. So you can see right here where we have our currently selected vertex group.
He's doing a couple things.
If we press Alt plus left click, we're switching between them, which is awesome. And it would actually be a little bit cleaner of an example if I...
Okay, wait. Let's just shift to weight paint. Alt plus left click. No, I didn't get it.
I click on
said too many things all at once.
Object here, so I'll click on my torso. Actually, excuse me, I'll click on my rig, then shift click on my torso, then press Alt plus Tab and go to weight paint mode. Now, if I press Alt plus left click on my spine 2, we can see that we have a little bit weighted to it. If I go to spine 3, nothing's weighted to it. And if I go to spine 1, there's a little bit weighted to it as well. So spine 2 has like the most weighted to it, as you can see here, and spine 1 has a bit weighted to it. So that's kind of how you can preview the weights that are getting influenced on your bone. If you actually want to see where your skeleton is located, this can be a little bit more of an intuitive option. You can also rotate your bones with them selected in this mode by pressing R, G, and S. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually work on deformation bones, but that can be really useful if you're using a little bit less of a complicated rig than what Rigify gives you. However, how do you weight paint something to give it secondary motion on your character? For example, if you want your character's hair to sway, or if you want like their tail to wag, or if your character has ears, for example, and you want them to wiggle, how do you weight paint that? Well, first of all, you actually need to add that as a bone. And to do that, we're gonna want to go back into object mode, select our rig, and then we're gonna go back to our bone collections tab that we are just talking about, right? And we're gonna unisolate our deformation bones. So we're gonna click on this and make sure that is no longer starred so we can see all of our bones. Then I'm gonna press Tab to go into edit mode here. Now that I'm in edit mode, I want to press Shift plus A to add a bone. So this is a brand new bone on our rig, and I'm going to go to my bone collections tab right here and press this plus icon to add a brand new bone collection.
Okay. Object mode. Shift A. New bone just dropped. New single bone. I don't know where it is at the moment. There it is. New and I bone. Okay, and then go to bone collections on the rig.
collection. And it's just going to be called bones here, but I'm going to rename this hair. So this is a brand new bone collection, but there's nothing actually assigned to it right now. If I press the isolate button, there's going to be no bones in there because we actually need to assign things to this bone collection in order for them to be in there. So to do that, I'm just going to make sure my brand new bone, which is right here, we can see the name right here, is bone. This is my brand new one and it's selected right here. So making sure this brand new bone is selected, I'm going to click assign. Now, if I isolate into this bone collection,
don't think it was supposed to be punished. Edit mode and oh, why is that a bone? And then hold on.
is selected. I'm going to click assign.
Okay. That. Yippee. What are these bones? What do you do? What do you do? What the? Just got the bone lord, I guess. I don't know. I thought they'd be rude. These tweaks. IK? Okay, they're for IK, I guess. I guess. -2s. No. Okay. Shoot, well, I was doing something. Oh wait, yeah. Added this bone.
Now, if I isolate into this bone collection by pressing the star icon, you can see that there's now a bone in it. One bone, the one we just created. Fantastic. So, I am now going to go into the front view by pressing 1 on my keyboard, so that's the orthographic front view. Click on my bone, press G plus Z to move it up, then R to rotate it like this. And again, it's super important. Remember when we talked about bone heads versus tails? This is the head of our bone right here. This is the tail of our bone right here, which means when we rotate our bone, it's going to rotate from this point right here. So it's really important that when we position our bone, which we're going to rig to the front hair right here, that this is the top of our bone and this is like the bottom of our bone, basically. So I'm going to position it, scale it, G to move, S to scale, kind of like this. Grab the head of the bone like this, kind of just line it up like that. All right, then I'm going to press 3 on my keyboard.
This one first.
G plus Y to move this forward. Then kind of line it up like that. That's looking really good. And while we're in edit mode, I should also, first of all, get out of orthographic view by clicking on this little icon right here. But I also want to rename my bone to not just the default bone name. So I'm going to press F2 on my keyboard while I'm in edit mode and while I have my bone selected and call this hair underscore front. Just for example, you can call it whatever you want, of course. With hair underscore front selected, just for fun, I can also go to the bone tab right here, go to viewport display and make this bone, we'll make it purple, just for fun. So this bone is now purple.
Hold on, how'd you do that?
To not just the default bone name. So I'm going to press F2 on my keyboard while I'm in edit mode and while I have my bone selected and call this hair underscore front, just for example.
F2.
You can call it whatever you want, of course. With hair underscore front selected, just for fun, I can also go to the bone tab right here, go to viewport display and make this bone, we'll make it purple, just for fun. So this bone is now purple. And I'm going to go back into the object data properties tab right here.
Purple.
Now that that's all taken care of, we want to actually make sure that this bone is weighted to our hair, because it's not actually weighted to our hair yet. And to do that, we want to click on our hair model, then shift click on the bone we just created, then press Ctrl+P, then do armature deform with empty groups. You could do automatic weights, but sometimes that's just not going to do what you want.
Okay, we gotta do that. What the? There we go. Oh, is it empty?
To do. So in this case here, we're just going to do with empty groups. So now if we click on our hair model, you're going to see there's a brand new vertex group at the bottom right here called hair_front, which is awesome. That's the bone we just made and the vertex group we just made. And this vertex group would not exist unless we do what we just did, which is click on
where was the vertex groups? Vertex groups. And right? Should be. Oops. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just click on
our model, shift click on our bone. So click on our model, shift click on our bone, then Control-P, armature deform with empty groups or automatic weights if you prefer. But in our case here, we want empty groups. So with that done, if we move our bone around, nothing's going to happen because we still need to weight paint it, which is what we're just talking about, right? So all we need to do now is click on our hair model, go to the weight painting tab, go to our brand new vertex group right here, hair_front, then click on our draw tool, set weight and strength to 100%, then weight paint this singular vert 100%. And something that I forgot to mention earlier is you can change your brush size by changing this radius value, which you can also change with the hotkey of F. So F is how you change your brush size, like that. So that works in the draw tool as well as the blur tool, like so. And you can also change your opacity, aka strength, with Shift plus F. So Shift plus F is how you quickly change your opacity, and it's even visualized here. So like 100% is 100% opacity, and we get more and more transparent as we go lower values like that, which is pretty cool. But you can change the size of your brush by pressing F. So F is how you change the size of your brush. And if you press Control plus F, you can change the weight. If you want to change your overall intensity, you can press Control plus F to change your weight, but Shift plus F is how you change your opacity, essentially. Now, if we go back into object mode, click on our brand new bone here, press Control plus Tab to go into pose mode, we now have weight painted this hair on our model, which is fantastic. However, there's one issue, where if we go into object mode and we unisolate our new bone collection, which is the hair bone collection, and then we click on our model's head right here, we try to move it around, you're going to see that our bone is not following along with our head. And this ties back into what we talked about in the last video about parent-child relationships with bones. We need to make sure that this bone is the child of this head bone. Otherwise, it's not going to know that it needs to follow along with our head bone. So to do that, all we need to do is press Tab to go back into edit mode.
If we go object mode, then why can I only see that one bone? I feel like I should be able to see every bone at the moment. Where's the rest of the rig? Hello? Where'd the rest of the rig go? Why is it not showing me the rest of the rig? Torso, arm, leg. Viewport display and it's just because it's being kind of hung. Why can't I see the rest of the rig? Why? Okay. Turn this for front. So what are you? Phone collections. Where's like my spine and stuff? Hello? Upper arm, upper torso. There definitely used to be more things. Hold on. What happened to like half of my shit? Why can't I see anything else? Unless I, like... specifically ask for it. With the rest position, now change pose when the rest position is enabled. You mean rest position is enabled? Show overlay. Why fucking turn rest position? Thought it would reset the position. Why is it just rotating it and not moving it? Yeah. Yeah, so why can't I just see stuff? This is really annoying. Because I'm stupid. That's why. Because God damn. Anyway, the specific reason why I wanted to do that is so I could be like... Weepy, and then show that. Alright, Christian, tell me why my shit ain't working.
And click on our new hair front bone. Then we need to go to the...
Oh, I got bones. Where are my bones at? Animate the bone. Animate the bone user. Are you the bone? Oh, where the bones at? Hold on. Like, legitimately, where are the bones? Where are my bones?
Bone along with our head bone. So to do that, all we need to do is press tab to go back into edit mode and
Okay, that's one. Okay. Oh. I didn't like what I did. Okay.
click on our new hair front bone. Then we need to go to the bone properties menu right here. And in this menu, there's a relations option. So, a relations drop down where you can set the parent of your bone. And remember, when we were going through all the vertex groups of our hair here, we saw that there was a vertex group called, if we go all the way to the top here, def, and def is short for deformation, spine 006. So def spine 006 is indeed our head bone's name using Rigify. So remembering that, we're gonna go back into object mode, click on our bone here, go back into the relations tab right here. So this is bone properties, relations, and then from parent, we're gonna click, we have to be in edit mode. This is object mode. So we're gonna make sure we're in edit mode with our new bone selected, which is hair front. Then we're going to go to relations, parent, and do def spine .006, which is the name of our head bone.
Oh,
you're gonna see there's a little line
same.
that appeared from our head bone to our hair front bone. And when we go into object mode, when we go into pose mode now, and rotate our head bone around, you're gonna see that our hair bone is now following along with it exactly as we'd expect. So now we can animate the secondary motion on our hair. And we just rigged hair, but this also works for tails. This also works for ears. It works for anything that you want secondary motion for on your character. And it's very easy to do. So that covers it. In the next video, we're going to talk about rigging your character's faces in 2D. So our character has a 2-dimensional face texture here.
Hold on. Object mode. Head, weight paint, hair underscore front. What the fuck are you doing? Crouch. Anything else? I don't even know how I did that. I'm not gonna lie, that was crazy. Okay.
We're going to talk about how to animate those using geometry nodes. Hope you're looking forward to it, and thank you so much for watching. How can we make a facial texture like this animate on our character rig kind of like this? That's what we're going to talk about in...
I don't know if that'll carry over to Rigify. Or not Rigify, carry over to VNAM. Hold on, let me look at what the file type is called. VRM. So let's save the model file. Export. I don't think I can export the VRM. No. Okay. Blender export as VRM. Let's first install and enable. Yep. File. What was it? Is it edit preferences? Edit preferences. Add-ons. VRM. Okay. VRM add-on for Blender. Please download from Blender Extensions platform. What am I on? Blender 4. Okay. Yeah, add-on. Drag and drop into Blender. Install extension. Okay. Edit preferences. V. Okay, that didn't do anything. Called VRM format. What? Really? Okay. I'm just gonna download because whatever black magic they're trying to do is not working at the moment. Okay. Oh, it's on me. Oh, install from this. Install from this. Downloads. I've got a lot of things. Should be this one. Ooh, there's an error. Fun. Fun. Cookie doesn't exist. And it should. So, install from this. Doesn't seem like it installed from diff. Okay, something's iffy. Installation. Okay, the unzipped data does not function. Preferences. You click add-ons. Select add-ons from the left menu, then press the install button. hold on. I'm going to update Blender. Because there's a slightly newer version. So, while I'm waiting for that to happen, let's go back to Restream. I guess I can get my Venian stuff to work. Because I haven't actually set that up on OBS at all. So let's do that. This is the best model out of the 3 ones I found. Go to OBS. Going to rename this. UNG. Going to add a new window. 3D. Oh yeah, convenient. That's the one I want. Don't touch your person. Why does Venian look like that? Venian would not look like that. Hold on. What? Why does Venian specifically look like that? That's not what that's supposed to look like. Why is it not working? This is interesting. Well, it's nice to learn this now before things go horribly wrong later. Oh my god, did D-Cell do yet another... One final drop for the beat. Mirror from arrives in Rotten. Oh, that's probably another what you call it? Rhythm game. Okay, so Venian doesn't work. It also breaks if I bring it onto the first monitor, but I don't want to do that. Should I change this into a game channel? Yeah, let's try that. Let's do this. Game capture? Contact person. I don't think you need to use anti-cheat for it. I'm not going to lie. Oh, yippee! Yeah, you can see it now. I don't know how to get rid of the stuff on the side, I'm not gonna lie. How do I do that? Yes. Oh, wait. How am I outputting? Use virtual camera? NDI sender? Oh, hold on. Well, you can see me turn my head around. I did not have my hand up. I don't know what you were doing, miss, but that was illegal. Shaking my head at you. Okay. Anyways. Okay, there wasn't like a thing I can just... Yeah, symbol? Okay. This one makes the most sense to me. Like, what the fuck is Spout 2? Spout to sender. Okay, everyone's saying Spout 2 is the best. Okay, VN Spout is this... Okay, how do I put this into OBS? The stores. The media source? No, it shouldn't. It's a local file. Okay. I think that's enough of that. I'll figure that out later. So you guys don't have to see me figure that out. Anyway, we got new Blender up. So I'm gonna close you. And I'm going to update my Blender. New Blender just dropped. Validate my install, please. You guys get to see Vinland Saga. You got Askeladd, I think? I watched it a long time ago. I think during COVID, so like 4 years ago. I'm starting to feel old. I feel like I'm saying like more than a couple years ago for every time I describe when I've done things. And that's scary. Yeah. But basically, I just want to get this into VNyan and then see how... do not want to like this. Let's put Blender... and I have to... Blender 4.5. Import preferences. Hmm? Open recent person. Automatic execution. Rig UI. What is that? Okay, anyway, edit. Preferences. I don't know. Oh, I still have it in this, so let's go. So file, export, VRM. Oh, just great. There are unassigned required VRM human bones. Chest. Find two. Find. Wait. No, it's using. Wait. Oops. No result found. Why not? Things that being an ancestor and it's assigned to. Okay. And that one. What do you mean? Why weren't descendant of the bone shoulder R and VRM human bone right shoulder? Hold on, what? I just wanted to export this neatly. Let's go everything. We're going to edit mode. I want to know the names of all of you. What's your name? Upper arm FK.L. And you're connected to shoulder L. So I don't get what the issue is here. Should be descendant of shoulder L assigned to the VRM. There's literally one that does that. And y'all are also not. Should be ancestor of the born torso assigned to the VRM human bone spine. Okay. What else would it be? I don't get it. I feel like I shouldn't be having like tweaks and stuff. Like they have very neatly named stuff here. So hold on. My bone collection. We got torso, we got hair. And then we got IK and FK. I don't know what it wants. Does Vignan want FK or? Okay, hold on. Let's look at the. I feel like I should be connecting it to the bones specifically. So I guess we go tweak. I don't think it's IK. Yeah, I think it's FK. So we go file, export, VRM, rig, the chest, I'm going to say it's torso. Maybe that one's supposed to be torso and this is supposed to be. I'm not gonna use an MC. Okay, what's it supposed to be? To the bone torso assigned to the VRM bone spawn. Okay, so what's torso? Torso is that, and then weren't there hip bones? Where'd the hip bones go? Okay, I'm gonna hide all the IKs. Because right now they're being unhelpful. And the tweaks. Wait, but torso tweak is on here. What? Why did Twitch go down again? Twitch hates me today. What the fuck is going on? We got yet another Streamlabs message. We're up to 3 now. I guess this is the 4th time it's gone up. I don't know. Okay. I gotta figure this out right now. We got our bone collections. File. Export. There's the VRM rig. Okay. Google. Has to be connected. Be an ancestor connected to chat. We have a hips bone. It's literally right here. It's not even in what? What the fuck? Hold on, is this because no, because that's really annoying. I guess we go for the DEFs. Are there DEFs? I guess we can import VRMs. DEF. Toe, shin, foot, hand, thigh, pelvis, breast, forearm, shin, shoulder, upper arm, thigh, forearm, upper arm, thigh parent, shoulder, leg. Sweetie head, neck. What? Okay, I'm just going to do whatever gets me stuff. This isn't getting me stuff. There's too many things. I don't get why there's so many things. We're going org, I guess. And forearm. Bottles. I can see how fucked up this is. I don't know what we're gonna do. Installer. Don't need the zip anymore. Make a game, make a mod. YouTuber stuff, Venium. And then you can see just how fucked up this is. Load. Oh, I guess you guys want to see it. Hold on.
This video.
What? Fucking jump scared me. OBS. I pressed the wrong thing. I think I gave up on doing this, so I'm going to delete all of these things. Bowser. Be gay? That's the funniest thing I'll ever say. Alright. We got Venian. Okay, I'm not being hidden by Venian. Transform. Get the screen, please. Load avatar. Let's see if how badly this works. Oh? It's doing 0 tracking, but the arms are moving. With my webcam is on. Does that change anything? Nope. I'm just gonna maximize everything and see what happens. I'm going to assume nothing. Yeah. Alrighty. So I guess that's just what we've got for right now. So yeah. We've got a little lady. I think I'm going to figure out how to do this on my own. I'm going to name all of the Ben's stuff specific so I know what's going on. God damn, that was fucking annoying. What was I doing? Oh yeah, base arm roll. My arms are so far out. Ooh, that doesn't even affect it. That's really strange, because... Is there any hand tracking? Nope, no hand tracking. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think anyone's even here. Oh, someone is. But yeah, I am tired. 3D modeling is a lot. But yeah, we've got this working now though, which is great. Okay, we've got it in VNyan. We don't have it working, and I don't really feel like making it work right now. But the actual impressive thing, if I close this, is we have a rigged model in Blender. Let's go into phase mode. And we can pose her to do whatever our heart desires. Oh, why is that not doing anything? Don't do that to me right at the end. Okay, yeah. See, it works. It works, I swear. I swear it works. Oh wait, I'm missing something. Alright, let me enable everything so we can actually grab everything. The IK is everything. See? Look at how she bends her arm. She's gonna punch you. Look at this. Pop. Pop. She's beating you up. It's crazy. Me when I try and do stuff in VNyan and it doesn't work. And then I'm beating up VNyan. But yeah. That feels good. We have texture animation, which I don't know if that even carries over into something like VNyan. I'll have to figure out how that works. Like 2D texturing animations. But yeah, how long has this stream gone on for? Oh, just about 3 hours. But yeah, that's like a good runtime. But yeah, for everyone who stopped by, thank you for doing so. I hope you enjoyed your time here. I'm gonna do for the first time in forever, Nightbot on Twitch. He's got my socials. What a legend. Got my itch, my YouTube, Blue Sky, and Discord. because those are really the only ones I actually use. I haven't I used to have Instagram on there, and then I realized I forgot to post that or post on that for a while, and I don't really feel like catching up anymore. Oh, don't do an ad break. Hold on. Can I snooze it? I think it's a little too late. Hold on. Can I not just... No, okay. This is really annoying. There's not just a button for the stream manager. Can I snooze these ads? Did that work? I don't think it did. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it didn't stop anyone who is currently in ads. I'm sorry. Oh, wait. Okay. I'll just wait just a tad longer. But yeah, okay. Everyone who popped in, thank you for doing so. Blender is a bitch, but I do quite like using it. So yeah. Hopefully next time I'm either going to be doing game dev, playing a game, or we're going to be working on my actual 3D model, which will be fun. So yeah, for everyone who popped in, thank you for doing so. Maybe join Discord, maybe follow me on Blue Sky, or subscribe on YouTube for clips and stuff. Check out my games on Itch. And hopefully, actually, is anyone that... Oh, I'll raid leg. Raid leg underscore GY. Yeah. For everyone who popped in. I've said that already, like 3 times. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye. I wasn't on OBS yet, so I haven't actually... Okay, there we go. Bye.